Yo, what's going on everybody? It is Rush and welcome to week 6 of the Pokemon Speedruns Draft League. This is Teambuilder for this week. We are facing off against the Blackpool Blastoise and Coach Dralz, whom as you can see is 3-2 with a +7 differential. That's a really nice differential considering the record. Yeah, as you can see, Team MVP is Suicune, so that's something to keep in mind. For the most part, Dralz likes playing a kind of a bulky, almost stall-ish type team with a little bit of offense mixed in. It's really annoying to deal with, but I'm not going to spend too much time looking at the standings today. We're just going to go ahead and jump straight into his team, so let's take a look at the Blastoise. So, welcome to the Blastoise. Clefable, Suicune, Shaman, Alolanmuck, Gallade, Lycanroc Midnight, Charizard X, Staraptor, Nidoqueen, Magnezone, and Ambipom. Clefable is either an unaware or Magic Guard type wall. Could be offensive, gets access to stuff like Calm Mind, Cosmic Power, Aromatherapy, Wish, Protect, Moonblast, Fire Blast, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, I want to say, Thunder Wave, Toxic. Just a whole lot of support options, and so far Dralz has used it kind of as just a setup mon, like a setup sweeper with Calm Mind, just like a wall. He actually got a 6-0 with it alone, I think, something like that. So it's something that I really need to keep in mind, that Clefable is sometimes, is most of the time a setup wall, but unaware just makes it that much more bulky, so I gotta be careful of that. Suicune has been used in almost the exact same manner. Most of the time it's been a rest, talk, calm mindset that is mostly physically defensive, but sometimes he's brought a little bit of speed, either with the moves Scald or Ice Beam as the only attacking option. So something that I need to keep in mind, because Scald plus Ice Beam has perfect coverage versus my entire team, so I need to be very careful about that because I don't have a pure water type or a water and ice resist, like essentially. Shaman, another nice Pokemon. It's got good bulk, great wall breaking potential with the move Seed Flare, with the 50% chance to lower an opponent's special defense by 2 stages, with coverage moves like Earth Power, Psychic, Air Slash, gets access to Leech Seed, Aromatherapy, Healing Wish for support. Shaman is just a really good Pokemon, and you really need to be careful of it, otherwise he will surprise you. Alolanmuck is, for the most part, just a tank type, 105 attack, 105 HP, 75 in the defense, 100 in the special defense. A very nice candidate for an Assault Vest, being a special sponge. But Alolanmuck's got okay coverage moves. It gets Fire move, Fighting move, Poison move, Dark move, Shadow Sneak for priority. A Poison, yes, it gets Poison move, Curse. Rest Talk could be something that I wouldn't put past Dralz if you wanted to try it out. Gallade, Z Crystal Mon number 2, alongside Suicune, has access to stuff like Bulk Up and Swords Dance, so it makes for a very interesting setup Pokemon, but it's also got tremendous type coverage with moves like Knock Off, Leaf Blade, Close Combat, Shadow Sneak, Drain Punch, Zen Headbutt, Psycho Cut, Night Slash. Just gets tremendous coverage, and I wouldn't put anything past Dralz, even up to and including a Scarf Gallade. Something that I do need to be very careful of, that Scarf Gallade can be a threat. Lycanroc Midnight, I'm not as scared of it. I've got like very nice physically defensive options that deal with Lycanroc's coverage quite well. It mainly gets Dark with Sucker Punch and Crunch, Fighting with Brick Break, Ground with Stomping Tantrum, Rock with Stone Edge, and if I didn't mention it, Sucker Punch. But it doesn't get access to a Cell Rock because Midnight does not. but it can also set up Stealth Rock's counter is the signature move of the Lycanroc trio on this version. But I'm not entirely sure I'd see it. But, you know, who knows, anything could happen. Mega Charizard X is Defog, a hazard clear option number 1 for Dralz. It's a little bit bulkier, 78, 111, and 85 on the defenses, kind of especially defensively impaired, but it's got enough bulk to make a very nice physical tank, especially because it does resist Bug, so I can't freely switch around with Beedrill. If I bring Fortress, it resists Steel and Bug and can deal massive damage with either Flamethrower, Fire Blast, Flame Charge, or Flare Blitz. So something that I need to keep in mind is that Charizard X is very dangerous towards my Scizor, but for the most part can't really touch Swampert unless he's carrying like a Sunny Day Solar Beam. So that's something to note, is Charizard X doesn't really get a lot of coverage for stuff like Swampert. Defog option number 2 is Staraptor. Definitely more of an offensive Pokemon with either Intimidate or Reckless. Both very solid abilities with the very nice base 100 speed and a base 120 attack. This thing could be, for the most part, either Choice Banded or Choice Scarfed, either as a Breaker type or a Revenge type. Both work very well versus my team. Bandit Staraptor, 2-hit KOs, everything on my team. But I can deal with it if I get the opportunity, especially if I get Stealth Rocks up and really limit its switch-ins. Plus, I also have Revenge options. Don't forget, I do have Mamoswine on my team, so Staraptor probably won't be doing as much. And I know Dralz is going to fear that thing, especially because of the next Pokemon being Nidoqueen. And Nidoqueen also has decent support options, get access to Stealth Rocks and Toxic Spikes, but it does have some offensive potential with Life Orb Sheer Force boosts, with stuff like Ice Beam, Fire Blast, Earth Power, Sludge Wave, and physical options like Poison Jab, Earthquake. Nidoqueen is just a very versatile Pokemon, and I gotta be really careful of its vast move pool, but I think I got a decent way of dealing with her this week. Magnezone is another very offensive Pokemon, doesn't have a lot of speed, has a little bit of tanking prowess, with base 115 and 90, and the defenses with the 70 HP. But for the most part, it's going to be a special attacker with that base 130 special attack, and the base 60 speed, making it an option to be Choice Scarfed, but it could be a little more bulky, especially because the only Mon on my team that Magnet Pull traps is Fortress, and so I expect Magnezone to be brought because of that, because otherwise Fortress starts racking up some hazards, and if he doesn't have a decent defog option brought, which he only has 2 ways to clear hazards, that could start being a problem for him. So I expect Magnezone to come to start dealing with that right away. Ambipom is the last Mon of his team. Base 100 attack, base 115 speed. Very interesting Pokemon, very interesting Wall Breaker and Revenge option with moves like Skill Link, Tail Slap, Technician Boosted Fake Out, gets moves like U-Turn, Knock Off, Power Up, Punch, Focus Punch. I wouldn't put anything past a surprise Focus Punch, but I want to say it gets Grass. Seriously want to say it gets Bullet Seed, but it's a very interesting Pokemon, but I gotta be very careful of it. But the Pokemon I expect him to bring this week, I expect Clef, I expect Suicune, I expect Shaman, even though as you can see he still hasn't brought it to a match as of this recording, but I still expect it to be there. I expect either Shaman or Gallade. I expect him to bring at least one Mon he hasn't brought before. Nidoqueen, Staraptor, Magnezone, I think, would round out the list. But if he doesn't bring Magnezone, Charizard X. So, a lot of Mons put in a great amount of work versus my team, but I just don't expect Lycanroc, Mach, or Ambipom this week. But I also anticipate at least one Choice Scarf because of my team speed. If not two. Could be an interesting surprise. I know I am the #1 candidate to run dual Scarfers. I've done it multiple times before. It's a lot of fun. But what did I bring this week? So I am bringing, first of all, the Pretty Petal Flower Shop. Kind of a standard-ish set. Rocky Helmet with the max HP, max defense. Try to take as many physical hits as possible while also maintaining my special defensive prowess. Moonblast is the only attacking move, and everything else is just for Cleric. So Florges has an okay defensive potential versus the team, but I really needed Aromatherapy, just because Suicune passing Burns could potentially prove dangerous for my team, especially because my main counter for it, and let's go ahead and move on to it, is you, the Swampert. Actually, it's not a counter, it's just my best option for dealing with it, is just to roar it out. So unless he's carrying a lot of special attack investment, even a +6 Scald does only about 78, 80, 87, something like that, % to Swampert, of which it would then pop my Papa Berry, and I'd roar it out. This also helps me deal with the Staraptor a little bit better. I do have a Rocky Helmet on Pretty Petal to help deal with like a Bandit, Staraptor, just to help get as much chip off as possible, and even for a Choice Scarf variant. So my main way of dealing with that is chip this week. Stealth Rocks, Earthquake, and Ice Punch for the rest of the coverage. Ice Punch is there for that Staraptor. Does about 50% to a Reckless, in other words, Swampert's at neutral, Staraptor. So Ice Punch plus two Stealth Rock switch-ins kills it. So something like that, I do have the potential of revenge killing. Next Pokemon I brought this week is going to be the Wicker Man, a U-turn, Poison Jab, and Knockoff Drill Run with enough speed investment to outspeed non-Scarf Ambipom. I didn't bother trying to speed creep for a Scarf Gallade. I just felt that this was the best offensive and defensive investment for me. I can tank multiple Shadow Sneaks, and in fact, any hit from a non-attack invested Alolan Muck, and I'm able to deal, I wanted to say, it's about 50 to 60% with Drill Run to a max HP, 0 defense Muck. U-turn's there for momentum. Poison Jab is there because it's the best damage dealing move that I have, especially against something like Suicune, and it one-hit KOs all forms of Clefable, yes? Especially because I am adamant this week. Knockoff is there just for, knocking off items, how you do. Drill Run also hits Magnezone incredibly well, and I do outspeed even a Choice Scarf variant of that. I outspeed it by the 2 points, yes? Something like that, I think that's right. I outspeed it by 1 or 2 points. So that is Mega Beedrill this week, able to deal the most damage. It's going to be a Breaker type this week, but it also has the U-turn for offensive momentum. And speaking of offensive momentum, hey, we're bringing back Ein, the Choice Specs Raikou this week. I needed something to deal massive damage to Suicune, and Thunderbolt does 87 to 96% to Suicune. If it's just max HP, no special defense with Thunderbolt, and it does about 60 to 70% with the Volt Switch. Hidden Power Ground is there for the Magnezone, one-hit KOs, invested types. Signal Beam is there for the Shaman, mainly, but also the... shoot, what else? Was it just for Shaman? It might have been just for Shaman. Just because, obviously, I can't run HP Ice and HP Ground at the same time. Signal Beam was the next best option, and it also has a chance to confuse, but, you know, that's not what I'm banking for. Of course, as much speed as possible. This allows me to speed tie with Ambipom, and as you can see, I do have that inner focus ability this week, so I cannot be faked out. And I do tank 1, if not 2 fake outs. So, if he tries to revenge me twice, I mean, he's gone anyway. Next Pokemon this week, another expert at chipping damage, Rocky Helmet Fortress. I really need that Staraptor weakened, so this is another option for that. Spikes, Rapid Spin, Volt Switch, and Earthquake. Spikes is there just to help rack up continuous damage on everything that's on the ground, like Suicune, like Shaman, like Ambipom if he's got that. Rapid Spin is there to clear hazards. I don't expect, in fact I have an anti-Stealth Rocks Pokemon on my team, but just in case they're there, Rapid Spin is very nice. Volt Switch and Earthquake are there mainly because Magnezone exists. If Magnezone is still around, but Nidoqueen is not, Volt Switch is a great option. But Earthquake also deals massive damage to it, and either of them, to be honest. And with my Sturdy intact, I can still tank a hit from Magnezone and deal massive damage with Earthquake, if not, straight up Volt Switch. So that is Fortress this week, designed to take Chip, and then Volt Switch on out. Because I am also slower than his entire team. Something to note with Fortress. Last mon that I'm bringing this week is going to be Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Yay! Finally, something on the team that doesn't look right. Taunt, Earth Power, Draco Meteor, and Poisinium Z Belch. Roush, what have you done? This is my anti-Stealth Rocks lead Pokemon. Taunt plus Earth Power is for the Nidoqueen. Z Belch, one-hit KOs any non-special defensive invested Clefable, and in fact, if it's just like Calm with a small amount of investment, I still have a damage roll to 1-hit KO with this investment. But for the most part, actually, sorry, let's try that again. Max Spadef Clefable dies to Z Belch plus Earth Power. So, if he wants to just try and set up Stealth Rocks, I do 2-hit KO this stupid Pokemon. So there's that. Earth Power also 2-hit KOs Suicune. Draco Meteor just does the most amount of damage all around. And what was the other hazard setter? It was Lycanroc. Lycanroc dies to 2 Earth Powers as well, and it doesn't do enough damage to me because I have a lot of HP investment. Hey! So the modest nature with that investment is there, again, as I said, to 2-hit KO every single type of Clefable. Yeah. Taunt is there to shut down Nidoqueen from setting up hazards, and unless she is fully offensive, which Earth Power ends up with a damage roll, Doofenshmirtz gets to tank a hit and then 2-hit KO with Earth Power. But the other thing is, any and all Clefables 1-hit KO this Hydreigon back, so I do need to be wary of that. Although, as you know, I do have plenty of revenge options for it. So, that's my team for this week. I prepped for as many things as I could. There are some things I still need to be wary of. Like I said, I need to be careful of even a potential Scarf Shaman. I need to figure out what type of Staraptor he's bringing. Otherwise, it's either easy or difficult to handle. So, yeah, that's going to be the team for this week. Thank y'all so much for watching. Match goes up tomorrow, and I will see you then. Roush is out.